see the key back in that position.
We're going to go through attaching the gun lock to each of the four style of weapons we have here, and then removing the gun lock from the weapon. There's four different platforms of weapon here. We have the semi-automatic handgun, we have a revolver, we have a pump action style shotgun, and we have a AR-15 platform style rifle. First weapon we're going to demonstrate is the Glock semi-automatic handgun. In the safe direction, I'm going to check the firearm to make sure it's clear. I'm going to visually look in and physically look in the weapon. Once I'm done doing that, I'm going to have somebody else do the exact same thing that I'm doing. All right? Gun's rendered safe. There's no magazine in the magazine well, and there's no round in the chamber. All right?
So to apply the gun lock, you can insert the cable end of the gun lock into the ejection port of the firearm, insert it down the magazine well, and then connect that open cable end to the lock. And then twist the key and verify that this lock is now installed on the firearm. With the lock on, you're physically unable to insert a magazine into the weapon or chamber around by racking the slide forward, making it safe.
Right. Once the weapon's secured like this, you can store it in a safe spot in your vehicle. You can store it in a vault or in your house in a safe place, and nobody can access to charge this weapon. Same way as going through taking the gun lock off.
To remove it, just insert the key, rotate it, the cable end of the lock. It's going to come out of the lock itself, and then just pull the cable end out of the magazine well and through the ejection port of the firearm.
Second style firearm we're going to demonstrate on is the revolver. Again, weapon pointed in a safe direction to clear a revolver out. Just open up the cylinder and physically look to make sure there's no ammunition inside the cylinder and have it verified.
And it is clear. To install the lock on the firearm, you could take the cable end of the lock, insert it through a chamber opening in the cylinder, insert the cable end into the lock itself, rotate the key, remove the key, and just verify that this lock is locked. And same thing, now this weapon, you're unable to close the cylinder into the receiver of the firearm to chamber around, and this is now safe.
Same thing goes with removing it. Simply insert the key.
Insert the key, rotate it, just pull the lock end out, or I'm sorry, the cable end out of the lock itself and through the cylinder.
Next style we're going to use is the pump action style shotgun. Again, point in a safe direction. Physically look in, make sure it's clear, and physically check to make sure that there's no ammunition in there.
To apply the gun lock onto a shotgun, you could insert the cable end of the lock through the ejection port of the shotgun, bring it down through the receiver and out the loading port on the bottom of the shotgun. Insert the cable into the lock itself, rotate the key to lock it, verify that it's locked, and now this shotgun you're unable to chamber around. If there were ammunition in it, you're physically unable to move the action forward to chamber around on the shotgun, so this is also safe. To remove it, just the opposite process. Insert the key, remove the cable from the lock itself, and bring it through the receiver of the shotgun.
This style of weapon we're going to cover is the AR-15 platform style. So again, in a safe direction, make sure the weapon's clear. I'm going to visibly and physically check the weapon to make sure it's clear.
It's clear. So to install a gun lock on a rifle, again, through the ejection port of the receiver, down through the magazine well, insert the cable into the lock itself, rotate the key, bring the key out, verify that this is in fact locked, and now, just like the semi-automatic handgun, you're physically unable to insert a magazine into the magazine well of the firearm or chamber around by bringing the action forward. To remove it, insert the key into the lock, rotate the key, bring the cable out of the lock itself, and bring the cable through the receiver of the firearm.
And again, before checking your firearm to make sure that it is safe, whether you're in your home or out of the range, the weapon remains pointed in a safe direction. Your finger remains off the trigger at all times. Follow those two rules and nobody will be injured. by an accidental discharge. These locks are cheap, they're easy to install. As you can see, they take less than 15 seconds to install or remove a lock from your firearm.